just in relation to Dr Niall Muldoon's damning report last week on children with special needs, it is scandalous that 4,000 children are waiting for diagnostic assessments to get school places. 15,500 are going to schools outside their own community, Taoiseach, and 1,500 are receiving home tuition because they can't get school places. And it's only a few months ago that the decision was made by this government to close an excellently run intervention unit in Kilbrittain, and we interceded and to stop. We need a proper debate on this issue. It's a very, very serious issue. The children of this country can't be left continue the way things are in relation to schooling for children with special needs. We need to have a proper debate for the week, not just crammed into a Friday evening and a Friday Dáil debate. So I'd plead with you, Taoiseach, to give a proper debate to this issue, because it's a very serious issue.
My sense is that members in the House want this to be a debating chamber, not a legislative chamber. If you look at just what has happened, if you look at what just happened through the chair,
can we have the Taoiseach now without interruption?
After request. I've had request after request, statements on this, statements on that, debate on that, but to hell with the legislation. We don't want legislation. Deputy Collins doesn't want to be crammed in on a Friday afternoon. We've offered 3 hours. We've offered 3 hours on Friday, not about debating endlessly about something, but about doing something in terms of legislation to improve the admission situation for children with special needs. That's what we want to do. No, I know, Deputy Collins, the idea.
Wait now. Hold on. Sorry, Taoiseach. If we don't behave yourselves, we're going to suspend the House. Now, please. A bit of manners.
Through the Chair, I have to say, and I'm making the point, this is a legislative assembly first and foremost. Its objective is to pass laws. And the idea of 9 bills being appalling, to me that's a sign of productivity, getting work done, getting legislation through. And some emergency legislation is required. That's nothing new. It has happened time immemorial in terms of emergency legislation required. But instead of just having endless debates, we want action as well. We do need action in terms of admissions to schools for fully inclusive principles around children with special needs being admitted to schools, and we don't have a situation where certain schools are doing all the heavy lifting in respect of special needs admissions to our schools. But we do need to make up our mind in terms of, and people talk about the business, Deputy Pringle talks about the Business Committee. It seems to me, and I've been, invariably at the order of business, there are calls for statements, debates in a very precious time frame, because we don't have expanded time frame. This week we have Friday. We don't normally sit on a Friday.
Please.
But it seems to be the preference is debate, and we push back legislation all of the time. And I think that balance has to be redressed. I'm saying that from the government side of the House, that I always, consistently since I was elected to this House, have seen it primarily as a legislative assembly, because that means you get things done, as opposed to just playing to the gallery all the time. I'm not saying that's what you're all doing from time to time, but there's an element of it, I'm afraid. And Deputy Collins, you weren't first prize in that regard.
Now, are the proposed arrangements agreed to? Or not agreed?